and Nicolas Waugh are going to be on the third line. Right now, I'm going to have Kelly Yarncroc as the third man on that line.
Okay.
Just for the defensive situations. And then I think it's going to be Scott Lund, Steven Lorentz, and then let's throw Nicky Bobby on that fourth line, which, I mean, it's not the ideal fourth line, but that's kind of how I kind of see things right now.
Something tells me you forgot a man.
Who did I forget?
Feel like you forgot someone. Because I basically, so I have 11 of the 12 players on my lineup. I have Yarncroc on the fourth line with Lawton, Lorentz, and Yarncroc, just like we saw in the postseason, and it was a very formidable fourth line, basically a third line for this team. I do not have Nicky Bobby making my opening night roster if everything stays as is. I got Joshua, Nicolas Waugh, and Bobby McMahon.
Oh, shoot, Bobby McMahon.
I knew you forgot. I'm like, I think you forgot about somebody, because Bobby McMahon is the guy I have. So, yeah, the top six, I think we're both aligned there. Nyes, Matthews, and Domi. Michelli, Tavares, and Nylander. That makes up your second line. And then Joshua Waugh, McMahon on the third line, and Lawton, Lorentz, and that boy Cali Doe, as Marshawn Lynch would say, Yarncroc as the fourth line winger there. So
sorry, Bobby. Jeez, I don't even know how I forgot about Bobby for a second there. Wow.
I don't know how you did either. And that puts Nicky Bobby as a 13th forward, and then so no Easton Cowan.
Zeta as the fifth. That's like the 16th forward.
So like Easton Cowan, not a guy for you. Like, are you like, if here's what I find very interesting, right? And I almost feel like today's comments almost makes it nearly impossible for Easton Cowan to make the team out of camp. One, last year, he had what Craig Berube said about Easton Cowan was he needs to take care of the puck a little more, right? His puck control, and when he has it, that is something he has to work on in junior, which he did, to his credit. I thought this year, the few games that I watched of the London Knights, I did think that he had great puck possession and puck control. But if you're afraid to put Matthias Michelli up on the top line because you think that it may be too pressure-packed right off the get-go, you're going to put Easton Cowan, a guy who's never played a single game in the NHL, up on the top line with Matthews and Nyes? Probably not. I don't think that's a spot he's going to go. And then all of a sudden now it's like, okay, so what? Now you're looking at only one spot in the top six, and it's going to be either Domi, Easton Cowan, or Nicky Bobby. And I don't see him beating out Domi for that spot. Maybe Nick Robertson, but it sounds more likely to me after what we heard today. Sounds as though maybe Easton Cowan might have to spend the first couple months down in the minors before coming up to the big club.
Yeah, and I think it makes the most sense just to have him in a environment where he can kind of work and develop and not have the pressure of the Toronto media, talking about him each and every night when he isn't or in the lineup, right? Because if he's on the Leafs to start the season, we're probably going to see him spend some time in the press box. And I don't like the idea of that. It would make no sense, right?
He needs to play. He needs the minutes.
He does.
He's far more effective, and it'll be far better for his development playing top 6 minutes in the American Hockey League for the Marlies than it would be playing fourth line minutes or press box body for the Maple Leafs. Just flat out would be way better for his development. To be a nightly contributor in the American League than an afterthought in the National League.
Yeah, I think it's never a bad thing for your top prospects to spend some time in the AHL, right? Mm-hmm. Most teams generally have that happen. I think I would say Matthew Nyes is an exception to the rule just because.
Yeah, but he went to college for 2 years. Like that's his version of elsewhere.
Not only that, he's also built like a tank. Easton Cowan, unfortunately, is not built that way.
Yeah, he's also 6'3", 220 pounds.
Yeah.
Easton Cowan's like 5'10", 5'11", $180. different situation.
Like I know a lot of people, and somebody brought this up to me, would hope that Easton Cowan could take a similar path to like what a Wyatt Johnson did, where he had a really good junior career and he was able to translate that to the NHL right away. But you know what? There's no reason why he can't do that, even if he was in the AHL. Like Wyatt Johnson, when it came to Dallas, took advantage of an opportunity that was presented to him where there was a clear need for him to be there right off the hop. I'm okay if Easton Cowan doesn't have, if he has to take a bit of a different path. And I know there's a lot of people that are still bullish on what he can be as an NHL prospect. Well, he's not a finished product, and that's fine, because he's going to have a lot. They're trying to do this the right way with him, and I think the important thing to take from what Berube's had to say is they're okay being patient with Easton Cowan. I think the rest of the fan base is going to have to show some patience with him as well.
Yeah, 100%. So don't be alarmed if the Maple Leafs break camp and Easton Cowan is not part of the 23-man roster when they kick things off and play the Montreal Canadiens on night 1 for game 1 of the NHL season on night 2 of the NHL season. But we'll see. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I'll say that, because the ceiling of Easton Cowan is far higher than it is of Max Domi. So if he could come and beat out Domi and earn a top 6 or top line role at the club, I think that's best case scenario for the Maple Leafs. Yep. I just think it's less likely that it happens right away. I think that he will need a little bit of seasoning before being given a role like that. All right, more pressure on Matthews or more pressure on Marner heading into the upcoming season. We'll have that discussion next here in the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. If your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it fits however you like to bet, whether it's on player props, building a same-game parlay, or even jumping in on some live bets as well. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your favorite team or keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the best way to add a little bit more energy to those Sundays. So, are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Welcome back into the Locked On Leafs podcast. Mike DiStefano, Dave Morisuti with you as we are each and every day, Monday to Friday, on the Locked On Leafs podcast, free and available wherever you get a podcast, and also on YouTube. Season's coming up pretty soon, man. We're a week away from the start of training camp.